Hey there, and welcome to this week's newsletter. So, this summer I read a great book, 10x is easier than 2x. And it really kind of made me think about what I want 2024 to be. It tied in beautifully with a 5-week campaign I did with us as a community around your year by design and how you can make 2024 your year by design. And there's a link to the videos in the newsletter that if you want to review that, you can do so. So I was thinking about how could 2024 be a 10x year for me? So what does that mean? 10x is easier than 2x. Well, the book's written by Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy. Ben is a psychologist. Dan is a high performance coach based in the US, and he's a high performance coach for entrepreneurs. And this idea of going 10x is about the leaps that we make when we leave kind of 80% of what's currently there behind and move forward with the 20% that brings us most joy, that brings us most delight, that helps us expand into the best version of ourselves in the future. So that for me was a great question. Like, what would that look like for me in 2024? I wonder what it would look like for you in 2024. It might feel like 10x moves are things that we've not done before, and yet we do them all the time, but perhaps don't recognize that they're 10x moves. So when you think about it, when we learned to speak, that was a 10x move. It transformed our worlds in ways that were kind of irreversible. The same is true of when we learn to walk, when we learn to make friends. These are all 10x moves because they commit us to something beyond what we're able to do now, beyond what we've done before, and we're transformed through that commitment. And that's what makes it 10x. It's something that expands our identity, expands our capacity, our possibility, so much so that what came before feels almost irrelevant in some way. I was thinking about some of the 10x moves that I've made in the past, and certainly like moving to Australia from the UK, that was a 10x move. I absolutely, more than 80% perhaps of my world was left in the UK as I started a new life over here. Equally, when I started my PhD journey, there was a fundamental shift in my identity as I moved through that 3-4 year journey, as I completed a PhD whilst I was working and being a mum. Oh, and I reckon becoming a parent is probably the biggest 10x move that I've ever had in my world. I've done other things. I've left jobs. I've decided to work independently outside of an organization. When I was 21, I decided to change the name that my parents gave me, and chose my name Paige, and went through the legal side of things to mean that moved forward as with that as my name and identity in the world. So this idea of 10x moves, it might feel like it's not something you do, and yet we have all done it at times. And I reckon taking a moment to think about what are the 10x moves that you've made in the past so that you know that they're possible in the future. And if you want to read more about this, the book is 10x is easier than 2x. And I recommend it. It's a great one to really kick off this year with some energy and momentum. See you next time.